stops me in front of the bathroom stall and says, "Get out now. You better leave this restaurant. The managers are crazy. They're insane. You don't want to be here. Trust me, you should quit right now and you should leave." Hello Bellydance princesses and princes. I'm Magnolia and today is Bellydance story time. And today's Bellydance story time is all about the worst restaurant that I've ever danced at. And I danced there for about 6 months. Now, these stories aren't really about how horrible it was for me as a dancer being there, but more about how horrible it was for everyone going to the restaurant to be there, and also everyone working there, and also everyone around there. So first, let me set up this story by telling you a little bit of the background of how often I would dance there. So I would dance there every Friday night. I did that for about 6 months until I eventually quit because the managers of this restaurant were insane. I get to the restaurant on my very first night dancing, so I go to the bathroom to change into my costume, and a random drunk woman comes into the bathroom as I'm coming out of the stall, stops me in front of the bathroom stall and says, "Get out now. You better leave this restaurant. The managers are crazy. They're insane. You don't want to be here. Trust me, you should quit right now and you should leave." Okay. I thought this woman was insane and she scared me and she harassed me in the bathroom, and I told the manager about it and he said he would take care of it. This woman never came back, but looking back on it now, she was my savior and I completely ignored her warnings, thinking that she was crazy. Then I find out there's another belly dancer there. So this belly dancer is acting really rude to me and I'm not sure why. I'm trying to be nice and like, "Hey, nice to meet you. I'm glad we're gonna be dancing together, blah, blah, blah." But she's not interested in talking to me at all or being nice to me at all, so I figure, whatever, that's just how some people are. I ended up not seeing that belly dancer ever again because it turns out that they were paying her less money than they were paying me, which I didn't know, and so she quit, which, good for her. I noticed that every time I come into the restaurant to dance, there's only like 1 or 2 tables of people in the whole restaurant every time I come there. So that was like warning number 57 that this place was crazy. But I was getting paid either way. If there were no customers in the restaurant, I still got paid and I pretty much just danced for the staff, so it wasn't really a big deal for me. The more and more I go to this restaurant, the more I start seeing why there are no customers here. And the main reason why there are no customers in this restaurant is because the owners, which are also the managers, are insane and they harass not only their employees but also their own customers. They call their customer liars. They don't give them their food within like a 30-minute window, even though they're the only ones in the whole restaurant. They refuse to give them their coupons they requested. They give them their food cold. They overcharge them for things. And they always blame the customers for any problem the customer brings about. I saw them lie to customers multiple times about what was going on and also yell at customers and essentially throw them out of the restaurant. So that's why they didn't have any customers, because they didn't know how to be nice people and how to run a business. I kind of stuck it out there to get the money. Just to be honest, I didn't have another full-time job, so dance was my full income, so I stayed because I needed an income. So the restaurant is owned and managed by a husband and wife who also have 2 small children. The children are 5 and 7 years old, and they bring their children to the restaurant every day since they're working there, and the children just run around the restaurant, not being monitored or taken care of every time that they're there. So they pretty much just have free range of the restaurant, and they can do whatever they want there and go up to customers and harass them, whatever. And there were a couple times where the customers complained and said like, "Hey, we're the parents of these children. Can someone, control these children?" Which was a very legitimate thing to say. And the owners lied and said that they weren't their kids and that it was a poor homeless woman's children who they were graciously letting eat in the restaurant because they were such nice people. That was a lie. It was their children, but they lied and said it was someone else's kids who was a homeless woman that they were helping out of the kindness of their hearts. So how rude of you, customer, to be upset about these poor homeless kids. So if you go onto their Yelp page, I'm not going to give the restaurant name because I don't want to be sued for slander, but the reviews from the customers are so crazy. It looks like someone was getting paid to make up crazy, insane stories about this restaurant. And just to give you an example, let me just tell you one of the craziest reviews that I ever read on Yelp, which that I 100% believe, because I've read some of these reviews and I was there when they happened and they are true. This place is, I'm gonna say insane 5,000 times in this video because it's insane. Let's tell a Yelp review story about this restaurant. A woman and her friends went into the restaurant to eat. They had horrible service, as usual, and so she left a bad Yelp review about it. A few days later, her roommate decided that she wanted to order delivery food from this restaurant too. The owner's wife delivers the food to their apartment herself and proceeds to harass the original woman who wrote the Yelp review about them at her door at her house, screaming at her, yelling at her, to the point that this woman had to close the door in her face. There is no doubt in my mind that this was not true, because the owner's wife was one of the angriest and most malicious people that I've ever met. She would gossip about customers and employees constantly. She would yell and scream in her employees' faces and throw things at them. She never spoke to me once in the entire 6 months that I worked there. She never said a word to me. So I believe that she did this 100%. So now let me tell you about the Valentine's Day event that is the pinnacle of this story. The restaurant is packed with people for like once ever. So the owner's children are there, of course. The children are doing what they normally do when they're at the restaurant, which is just running around, unsupervised, doing whatever they want. On all of the tables for Valentine's Day, they had a nice setup. They had like pink tablecloths, they had some flowers, they had little candles. So they had nice little setups for all of the tables for Valentine's Day. So the children are running around. And one of the children, the girl, who has long, beautiful, curly hair that like goes down to here, is playing at one of the tables, and she ends up somehow leaning over, and her hair gets in the candle and sets on fire. Her hair gets caught on fire. She starts screaming and running through the restaurant with her hair on fire. A customer went up to her and threw water on her hair and put the fire out. Then the parents come out and like help her daughter, who's now screaming and crying because her hair was on fire, and a customer had to save her child from burning to death. And this little girl is screaming. She's 7 years old. Her hair was on fire. She's screaming top of her lungs. This is a restaurant full of people that just saw their child get their hair caught on fire and is now crying in the middle of the restaurant. So the mother takes the child and takes her outside. And the whole restaurant, for about an hour after that, smells of burned hair. I actually end up doing in one of my sets a balancing candle tray piece where it's live candles bounced up on my head. Obviously, when I did that piece, it was a little awkward after that event. Let's just say that. So that is it for this Bellydance story time. I hope that you enjoyed that crazy story. If you enjoyed this, don't worry. I have lots of other Bellydance story times planned because I've been doing this for a while, and don't worry, there are more stories that I can tell you. So if you enjoyed that and you'd like to see other Bellydance instructional and performance videos, please subscribe so you can be notified as soon as I post another video. And thanks so much for watching. Bye!